disgustingly jovial song to kick us off here, Barney, but it is round 12 preview. Daggy and Barney with you to run through everything coming up this weekend. What's happening?
Yeah, about the same as happened a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. What do we talk about? We've got a preview to get through, but PCTC, I think Action is still leading there. It was sent to us, but we'll find that throughout the show.
Check out good round for most, I think. Would have ended up with 5 or 6 at minimum, I would imagine, because there's a lot of favourites got home this week. So
we're still holding up the ladder, so looking good there. What else did you do here? We just talk about footy, don't we?
Just pretty much, yeah.
I can't remember what we normally do. Anyway, whatever. We kick off round 12. It's a pretty good round coming up, actually, so at least an interesting one. Kicks off Thursday night at Suncorp. Surprise, surprise, where Brisbane host the Panthers. As my page just refreshes. Adam Reynolds is getting rested with Jock Madden coming into the side. No other changes there. And we have got the same for Penrith as we saw last week. Spencer Leniu, we didn't mention, popped a grape. And thoughts with him, He'll be out for a while. Poor
It'll make your eyes water.
Yeah, so I hope his recovery's going well. Well,
at training too.
At training.
So we got stuck in.
Poor bastard.
The boys are going hard at training. What do you say about this? Reynolds is a massive out. This will go a long way to seeing exactly where the Broncos are realistically. If Penrith come out flying through the middle of the field like they did last week, this will be probably the biggest challenge that they've faced in the middle of the field. While they've got plenty of blokes there that'll put up a good, consistent fight for a fair bit of time, I would imagine Penrith's skill in the outside backs and the halves may just come to the fore. And there are a few defensive inconsistencies out of the Brisbane outside backs, which have cost them once or twice this year, and I expect it to be a similar outcome in this one. I think Penrith to score a few more points out wide than what Brisbane may be able to put up against the best defensive team in the comp. So I'm still going to keep it close. I'm going to go with Penrith 1-12. Cleary man of the match, and I'm going to go first try scorer out on the right with Stephen Crichton.
I would be disappointed in Penrith if they concede more than 18 points in this game. I think Reynolds being out is the biggest blow of any really they could have had, because his kicking and I guess pulling the strings there would have kept them much closer. I think off the back of last week, I think very excited to see the first 20-minute forward clash. I think it's going to be a good game, but I think it might fall into the bit of not sure where these points are coming on from for Brisbane. Yep. Reece Walsh may try and overplay his hand and that sort of thing. So I'm thinking sort of 26-12, 26-16, and that would be relying on a bit of individual brilliance from the Brisbane side. I think the halves do the job for Penrith, and the rest will go through the motions. I think first try scorer, I'm going to go with Tyrone Peach again. I think he's feeling in pretty good form, and I think, as you said, there's a few defensive question marks at times around those backs. Man of the match, we'll go with Fisher Harris. He'll be up for the clash with Haas. I imagine Haas will still poll a point or two on the other side.
Absolutely.
Now, this is an interesting one because I would not want to back either of these teams at all if they were playing anyone else in the comp, but they found each other as the Dragons host the Roosters. And funnily enough, the new coach has wasted no time in bringing back Zach Lomax, in putting Ben Hunt to the half, and putting Little back into hooker, who may well even go close to playing the whole game there. Sullivan wasn't
poor either. I don't know why he got ousted in the first place.
He was building nicely into his work down there, I thought. So who knows why anyone does any. I'm sure they couldn't tell you why they weren't playing. Sullivan keeps a 14 spot. We'll see how that rotation works. No Mbai first off the boat there. Drew Hutchinson, is where Fletcher from? Drew Hutchinson is the new halfback for the Roosters, with apparently an injury at the moment to Walker. Keary moves back to 6. And Jared Weir-Hargraves is named to play, but was with a question mark. Egan Butcher's back from concussion. Tupanua starts, and Angus Crichton on the bench. What the hell do you do here, bud?
I'm not sure what Nat's done to lose his spot, to be honest, to get back onto the bench. I just think the longer this game goes, the stronger that the Roosters will be. I know they've been pretty poor for large parts of the year, but looking at that bench rotation, I think that's enough to get them home in this game. The likes of Nat Butcher, Angus Crichton coming off the bench, if they're anywhere near their best, you chuck in Matt Lodge there as well. They're going to steamroll some of these Dragons forwards who their starting forwards probably don't have the kind of skill and size that the Roosters are bringing off the bench here. So I expect them to make a point out of this game, to be honest, and after what they've put up with in the last couple of weeks, and just go back to that game plan and the structure that they had for years, and just really punch through the middle of the field and get in off the back of some quick play the balls, and then try to make something happen in and around the ruck. So I don't want to, but I'm going to tip the Roosters 13+. I just think by the end of this game, the Dragons will be shot to pieces through the middle of the field, and that's where they will cash in with the likes of people trailing up the forwards for offloads, and Brandon Smith maybe even running amok by the end of this game. So probably won't happen, but Roosters 13+. Man of the match, probably go with Brandon Smith. I think if the middle does get exposed the way I think it will, he'll be the one that'll cash in and set up some tries and maybe score one for himself. And then first try scorer, Radley, again, off Brandon Smith in and around the post.
I'd set out to tip Roosters 1-12 just by default.
So no, I've got it written here.
I'm thinking you might be right that this might blow out, and it may well be the tail of the rest of the Dragons season. And
surely they have to be pissed off of what happened last week.
I think they... I think so. And I think if they just do nothing wrong and just use the strength of their forward pack, sure they win this game.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they're going to make with Tupouniua starting, I think they're going to make a point of using him as a point of attack where his footwork close to the line. I'm going to go with him first try scorer.
Makes sense.
Trying to hit him and get him over there. First try scorer for him. He might be a good price, actually. I have to have a look at that. And man of the match, I think I'm going to go with Tedesco because I think close to Origin, desperation times, Teddy will run his 298 metres and be involved with a try or two.
Makes sense also.
We get to...
Look at you making sense.
Look at this. This is sound football analysis. Talk about that. Yes, all happening here. Well, it's... anyway, we've got the Rabbitohs and the Eels on Friday night with at Allianz Stadium. So, not Allianz, Accor. No, it is Allianz. Okay, over the road there, where Tom Burgess hasn't been named after his injury last week. Cartwright's out with HIA, so Saluka Fafita is back. Mitch Moses, one of the only changes for Para coming back in. Sean Lane being gone, so Cartwright in, Makatoa onto the bench. Sean Russell comes back in on the carousel of wingers and centres that they just take turns going around the field, apparently.
Keep swapping centres and wingers.
Anyway, I think this might be a gap job. I think they've had their grind last week. They've got through, completed. They'll get out there back to Friday night under lights and be slipping and sliding. I think they'll put a score on you. I think they'll win 13+.
And if there's a team out there that you really want to try and put the pressure on and score out wide, it's probably not a bad team.
We know, and that's exactly where I'm heading. The Parramatta Edges, Campbell Graham didn't touch a lot of ball last week, but he will be today. He'll score the first try, maybe even a couple. Tane Milne is good for all of their backline is deadly in this game, I think, because you're coming up against an informed Latrell and an informed Cody Walker. And I think the chase will be too big here for Para. I think, especially now we're seeing the South forwards match up. They're now running this forward pack that they're going to be able to really put a mark on as well. This would be a big win if Para can pull this off. Man of the match. It's going to be Latrell again. He's in white hot form. He's going to be involved again. Picking his back line friends to put through gaps.
Yeah, I'm very much the same as you, mate. I think the Rabbitohs do it and do it well, 13+. I think they may even score on their first venture down there. They'll go left and AJ will just go in behind Sean Russell with a short kick in behind, or just blow him away down the left-hand side where he's standing there wondering where he should have been when he runs past him to score. I think Parramatta will match it with their forwards, and they've got the explosiveness and the size to match them for 20 or 30 minutes in the middle of the field. But the longer this game goes on, similar to the game before, I think the South will just establish dominance through the middle of the field. Cook, Walker, the Latrell all start getting involved, and I can see a lot of points coming towards the back end of this game. Don't get me wrong, Parramatta do have the team to be able to put in a 80-minute performance and cause a lot of problems for South Sydney, but off what they've shown this year, I can't see it happening. So I've got 13 plus, Latrell man of the match, and Alex Johnson, first try scorer.
Saturday kicks off. Actually, just was wondering when they're heading up to Coffs this year, and the answer is this week.
This
Sharks
weekend, yeah.
in Newcastle. For the Sharks, still no Talakai. Connor Tracy comes in. He was pretty good. We didn't even talk about him. He was good last week.
He was good, yeah. Puts in a lot of effort. Wasn't scared of the physicality either. Which
no. Kafusi's back after pulling out last week. For McGuinness, who's got the broken hand. Hamlin named in an extended squad. And we've got an unchanged team for the Knights. And Hetherington shifts from lock to prop. So we'll see how they run out on the field. This feels a little bit similar to last Sunday's game, both last Sunday's games in a way. What do you think?
Scares me a little bit. The Sharks are a little bit better defensively on the edge than someone like the Titans, so I can't see. I can see Newcastle putting on a spate of 2 or 3 tries, but I can't see them extending it out to 4 and 5 tries in the space of 10 or 15 minutes. The Sharks again also have a lot of points in them out wide, so as you mentioned, this could be a high-scoring affair with both wingers and centres from both teams. Whatever side of the field it is, I can see a winger and a centre cashing in for both sides. Sharks, I think, should contain them in the middle and possibly even dominate at times through the middle of the field, which it should be enough for them to hold the game close enough and be able to get away with a 1-12 win. It does scare the shit out of me because this is a team. Sharks have shown a propensity of packing up shop for 10 or 15 minutes, and if they do that, it could be 2 or 3 tries in that 10 or 15 minute period. But Sharks 1-12, man of the match. It's generally always Nico, so we'll just keep going with Nico. And I really think Nikora is good for probably the first try. But I think he may even get a double or a triple in this game. It just seems that's a really good matchup for him on that right-hand side, and I think they'll be using it to its full extent. So
this feels like, if I'm going to find an upset this week, this feels like the one. And
one of them.
It just, I just have that concern. I feel like Newcastle got points in them, probably more than Manly, and it could be a race, the race to the bottom here, so to speak. Anyway. I'm going to stick with the Sharks. Gut feel is Newcastle. We're sticking with the Sharks. Going to go 1-12, sort of 32-26 kind of scoreline, maybe 20. As you said, if they're going to win, Nico's going to be man of the match. But I'm going to go the other one. I'm going to say Dom Young, the bomb across the field. It's been the Hastings pet play. Might produce the first points here.
It'll be that up against Mulatalo.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing how
that'll be a good battle.
That clash plays out. Interesting game because Newcastle did bounce back, had the freshen up in the bye. We'll see where they head.
Yep.
5:30 at Leichhardt, Luke Brooks' 200th game. How about that for the Tigers, who are unchanged? Same team. Naden's a week away from coming back from suspension. Tanua Brown is out and Riley Price into the team. Interesting game. I don't know. I'm gonna tip Tigers at home at Leichhardt. If it was the other way around, I probably wouldn't tip them. I think they drag them down as they have to the level of the last few weeks. What concerns me is we need to score more than 12 points because I think Cowboys will score 18 plus. I'd like to think somewhere in there we're capable of it. Why not go with a fairy tale? Luke Brooks, man of the match in his 200th game. If he can produce similar effort to what he did against Penrith, I think they'll produce more points, but he will definitely need to. I think they're going to dominate the forward battle for a long time here and contain some of those smaller forwards pretty comfortably. It'll just be what spark Cowboys can produce. It wouldn't surprise me, though, as has been the case all year, if there's one or two 80-metre tries, either against the grain or Val beating someone on the outside and streaking away. I'm going to go first try scorer. I'll stick with that. Val first try scorer.
Yeah, I'm very much the same, mate. I think the Tigers will probably hold them in the middle and probably be better than them for large parts of the game. And it's going to follow a pretty consistent pattern, which we've seen during the year of Tigers struggling to score points. So you really only need to give Val Holmes and Tuolungi one or two opportunities down that left-hand side in attack, right-hand side defence for the Tigers, and that could realistically be 12 or 18 points in a pretty short space of time. And Cowboys have started going there. The last 2 weeks, they've really made a focus of getting shifts to Val early, and yeah, I can see those two having a big part to play in this game. Dearden, man of the match, I think he'll be the one that's the link man that gets it out and creates the opportunities for his outside men. First try scorer, I'm going to go with Drinkwater. I think he might just be a show and go, like crabbing across the field, dummy kick or something, then show and go and score the first try. And, yeah, I just think the edges will be a bit too strong for the Cowboys, 1-12.
The main event is a very interesting game at Suncorp, where the Dolphins host the Storm. The Dolphins welcome back Bromwich and Brenko Lee, so Tavari moves out of the squad. Ewan Aitken has been named. I thought he was under injury cloud, but no notes here. They get Ray Stone back as well, and Mark Nichols is 18th man. He's still recovering from his surgery on his hand, but could well come into this team.
I'm pretty sure Aiken was just a HIA that they just rested and just left him out, and then they've had the bye as well. So
yeah, only because it flags in Supercoach being injured, but I don't recall it being a major.
No, he had a
issue.
HIA against the Sharks
so
and didn't come back on.
Yeah.
And then, they had the bye. So
yeah. And we know what we get with Melbourne. Nelson's been named still to start. Kamakamika on the bench at this stage. Tell you what, this is an interesting matchup, and it's a matchup I half feel suits the Dolphins. Have I got the balls to tip them?
I'm with you. I'm going. I'm doing it. I'm going with the Dolphins 1-12. I think they're going to go through the middle of the field. It's going to be another one of those target games, like Magic Round, like the first game of the year against the Roosters.
Statement game, Bennett.
Like their game when they played Brisbane up there and went close but got beaten. It's going to be a game where they're going to be flat out and doing everything they can to be, they would have put a circle around this game at the start of the year as we really need to put up. And we've got an opportunity here against a Storm team that forward pack is nowhere near as good as it used to be. So I think they pressure them through the middle. And
it is the forward pack, isn't it? Mm-hmm. It is that forward pack that they're not as good as.
It's the forward pack that they're not used, that they never used to be. Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, absolutely. And they've had some outside backs doing some very good things. Hamiso, Ewan Aitken,
I like Tessie New being
Jermaine
back as well.
Asako, Tessie New. So I think they may just have a few more points in them. I thought Storm were a bit clunky at home last week. They now have to go up there and play them at Suncorp. I'm going to go with Dolphins 1-12. I'm going to go man of the match with Gilbert. I think he'll have a big part to play in the middle of the field, and he's always the aggressor and the bloke who does a million tackles and might have an offload in him for a try assist. And I'm going to go first try scorer Asako on the right edge.
Isn't that funny? Because that's why I'm headed as well. I'm going to go 1-12 Dolphins. I'm going to go first try scorer Zarko up against Coates, who's not really been with us. And talking about Origin, he's a Queenslander, Zarko?
Mm-hmm, yep.
Well, him and Tessie New have been in some pretty good form when we couldn't cut with names in
Absolutely, they have.
In the review show. Man of the match, I'm going to go with Jeremy Marshall King. Just maybe a split decision over Harry Grant. It's a great clash as well.
Yeah, it is. It is a really
international
good
hookers.
matchup, actually.
Good game. 2 o'clock on Sunday, the Bulldogs host the Titans at the moment for the Bulldogs. Addo Carr's back. Blake Wilson goes back to 18th man. Oluwapu is getting his first grade starting spot as of today at 6.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see if that changes. Sam Hughes is on the bench with Franklin Pele, I believe, is injured again. Aaron Clark is back for the Titans, and Isaac Fasumwali goes back out of the side. A little bit similar to the Tigers here in that I'm going to go Titans 1-12 because the Titans will score 26, and I'm not sure the Bulldogs can score 26. And that's my main concern, though. If they're ever going to do it, is against this edge defence with the likes of Alamode maybe having a breakout game. But I'm going to stick with Titans and their forwards against a younger forward back again to steamroll them as well. So there's plenty in their favour. Man of the match for Feed, I think he's we're going to see what we've seen the last month, if not longer. And he might well score the first try as well.
Yeah, I'm not real sure why, but I've just got a feeling that the Dogs are going to pull something out of the fire in this game. Titans have been up for probably 3 or 4 weeks in a row and been playing some of their better football, and I just feel like they're due for a bit of a drop-off. While I still think they'll dominate the middle of the field, I can see the Bulldogs going out of their way to try and put on a few trick plays early with some early kicks for Josh Adokar and Karaz, and some early shifts. And if you get either of those two into the backfield, good luck catching them or getting across and trying to stop them before they get to the try line. So I can see the Dogs actually hitting the edges early, and the Titans just not being ready for it. So yeah. I can see Dogs. I think it'll be very, very close. And you'd be looking at somewhere around 22-20 or something like that at the back end of the game, maybe even golden point, but or 26 all.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've just got a feeling that they're going to try a few different things in this game and just play a little bit outside the box, because they've been so stale in attack. They really need to provide something. So I can see him just trying a couple of different things.
Brings that spark. Maybe he is big body, happy to take a line on. Great all-round game from what I've seen of the glimpses. So
throwing it out there, Dogs 1-12. Man of the match, it'll be Burton if it's going to be anybody, and Josh Adokar for the first try.
And we wrap up the Raiders and the Seagulls down at GIO. For the Raiders, they have lost Zach Wolford with his HIA, but get Denny Levi back.
Oh, right.
From his broken jaw. So Starling's named to start, Levi on the bench. We'll see how that plans out. Jake Turbo's back, which is a big in. Schuster is named at 6 at this stage, but they've lost Aloe and Tuolangi, as we suggested. Ben Travojevic gets a starting spot with Fainu and Condon coming onto the bench, with Aaron Woods also injured. Got grave concerns about where Manly are at, and especially losing those three forwards. I just think this Canberra pack will make a forward, will make a point of dominating the forward pack here. Horsburgh, Young, and Tarpanay up against Olakau'atu.
Chuck Papali in there.
But just, a real Origin shootout early for some of these Queensland blokes to just stomp him out of an Origin team more than anything. And their bench is very weak at the moment, Manly. So I can see Canberra. Canberra might win this 13+, because they're not a team I generally would think 13+, but I'm not sure where Manly's attack's going to come from if it's not DCE in field position. So, man of the match, I'm going to go with, I think Fogarty's come back great. I think he's going to control this as well, and it's a great chance for him to maybe throw up a Queensland name of the future if he continues the form he's in.
Yep.
First try scorer. Rapana out there. Poor old Jason Saab's not had a great time of it the last couple of weeks, and that may well continue.
Yeah, I was all teed up to tip Manly in this one. Another team that's just been down on performance week after week. Tom was moving better than I've seen him move all year. Jake coming back into this team. But when you take those three middles out of this team and you're up against one of the stronger middles in the competition, I just can't see it happening. Unless Tom goes and puts in an absolute stellar performance and scores 18 points off his own back.
I was going to say, we've seen it a little bit in Origin players lately, and you'd love to see him announce himself, but I can't say it.
Yeah, DC and Tom absolutely terrorising the Raiders would be the only way that they could possibly win this game. Raiders too strong through the middle of the field. And they're starting to do some stuff with some of them outside backs that we've mentioned. Tomoko, Rapana's can be brilliant, can be rubbish. Rocks and diamonds out of him. Chris has been fantastic coming through into that fullback position. But yeah, we'll go with Canberra 1-12. I'm going to go Whiten first try scorer. Just a dummy to his outside man and go himself, another show and go. And man of the match, I'll stick with Tarpanay. I think he's just really starting to peak. in typical Queenslander fashion, and we might just see it go through again.
Even though he's a Kiwi, but yeah.
Yeah, same deal. Whatever.
Uh,
No, that's true. Fucked that up, didn't I?
Anyway.
But, yeah, he's just really hitting form at the right time for this Canberra side. He was brilliant last week, and I can see him doing it again. So
Beautiful. Well, let's get into the disaster class, Barn. What have you got for us
I
here?
missed everything last week, which is a regular occurrence on my behalf. You've actually slipped in front of me. You managed to pick up $150 last week with a anytime try scorer of David Fafita, Greg Marzu, and Khan Pereira at $7.50. Had $20 on that, so got you a $150 return to bring your totals now up to a minus $210 overall for the season. And I am now minus $222.50.
All right. Well, we're clawing back. We're on the way back here. I'm going to go with some same-game multis again. I'm going to go firstly, which game's first? Yeah. First to the Cowboys and Tigers game. I'm going to go same-game multi. Papa E get his first try for the Tigers. Val Holmes and Tom Dearden all to score. I'm going to have $20 on that at $33.
$33, wow.
I'm going to go to the Dragons and Roosters game on Friday night. I'm going to go, I think there's points coming here too. Billy Smith, anytime. Sully, anytime. Going to give him one more chance. And Tupanua, anytime. That's $32. 20 on that. And we'll come home with, actually go 10 on that. And we'll go $10 on the last one, which is the Sharks and Newcastle. Anytime all up as well. Marzu, Fitzgibbon, and Nikora. 20 on that. That is $24.50 at the moment.
Fitz and Nikora.
Mm-hmm.
At, what was it, sorry?
$24.50.
$24.50. You're going to have 20 on that?
Yep.
Yeah.
10 on that middle one.
Yep, no worries. I'm going to go with the two upsets that I've picked this week, Dolphin and the Bulldogs. That'll get you $5.60. Have $20 on that head-to-head. Going to go Peachy first try scorer for Penrith at $15. Put $10 on that. Another first try scorer in Latrell for the South Sydney side. Have $50 on. Have $10 on that at $10.50. And then I'll go a back rower anytime try scorer bet with Nikora, David Fafita, and Ola Kawatu for Manly. All three of those will get you $22.30. I'll have $10 on that.
Beautiful. As mentioned, the more I think about this, the more I think I'm going to have a decent bet on Tupanua first try scorer in that Dragons game too.
Should get about 20s.
Yeah, somewhere in the teens. Teens, hopefully. 26 would be lovely, but we'll see what we can find. Anyway, what's got you frothing?
Would have been Penrith and Brisbane, to be honest. The out from Reynolds has really got me a bit worried, but I could. There's some really good forward clashes in this week coming up here. Brisbane and Penrith being the first one that we're going to see. The Dolphins and the Storm should also be a very good forward battle. Who's going to get dominance in that game? And Canberra Manly really has got me interested. I think this will really show you exactly where these two teams are at, because Manly, while they've been pretty poor for the last few weeks, this is a game that I think that they do have the opportunity to steal if they can match and contain the middle of the Canberra side. I think they've just got probably a fraction more points in them out wide. So
I agree. What's got me excited is that Dolphins game. The more I think about this, the more it has ambush written all over it again. And looking forward to seeing that forward clash, because I think the Dolphins will win it and just what they can produce. And if they win this, we might get people screaming from the rooftops that they're a top
genuine
6 team.
top 8 team contender.
Yeah. So looking forward to that. Looks like we've got Sharks and Tigers both in action. So let's catch up for Super Saturday.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's catch up there. Beauty. All right. It's been footy and frothies. It's cold, so we're going home. We will see. Talk to everyone soon. Bye, guys.
Bye.